Did any of these images elicit a response from your being in any way, shape, or form? Have any sudden urges to get up and run? How about a mild tapping of your foot and a progression of acceleration to the point where people might think you're on speed? Did the word speed do anything for you? Well, then I'm sorry to say, you have got a severe case of gotta go fast syndrome. This dormant gene is found in 100% of people worldwide, but only becomes active when presented with opportunities of adrenaline. Many of these people who embrace gotta go fast syndrome often skyrocket to accelerating careers, such as track and field, with its competitive nature, Formula One racing, with its neck-breaking speeds, speed stacking, with its dangerously precise and life-altering precision. 12 people have died in the last minute from failed speed stacking competitions. Unfortunately, some individuals aren't as gifted in speed as others are, so they must resort to other lackluster means to get their fix in speed. Some take drugs, believing speed to actually give you the ability to run fast. Those run straight to their graves. Others are adrenaline junkies who take the most dangerous stunts. Worst of all, some individuals play video games and end up exposing themselves to Sonic the Hedgehog and the early 2000s cool factor, only to never realize they'll never be as cool as Shadow the Hedgehog, which is now worsened with the fact that Keanu Reeves is voicing him. Now these people spend most of their days obsessing over the next lackluster entry in the long franchise. Here are the thoughts of one such individual. From competitive multiplayer, all the way down to single-player game-breaking exploits, finding the most optimal way to finish a level or beat the time on an ever-growing scoreboard by the tiniest fraction of a second, just so you can boast about how much better you are at that game to everyone else in the world, is all so satisfying. Ever since I got my first game console, I found myself attracted to rushing through a level and beating a boss, or even finishing the game as fast as I could. My introduction to the very idea came from the fact that I had a GameCube as a kid, and the SD card function on that GameCube did not work. For this very reason, I replayed Sonic Adventure DX and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle to no end. Out of every game I owned, I always went back to these two because at the time, they were the fastest games I could beat in a day. Practice and repetition led me to knowing every level, every shortcut, and even showed me that sometimes taking the path given to you could slow you down. So finding your own way and making your own shortcuts was the way to go. Now, if you were to ask me how these games held up, they're pretty clunky to go back to. And while the speed was presented well in those games, the limitations of the hardware definitely shows. So when I finally got an Xbox 360 and discovered the Need for Speed franchise, it changed everything. It's not like my love-hate relationship with the Sonic games went away. Sonic was more or less a gateway drug into understanding my affliction. Arcade racers like Need for Speed really expanded my mind into how broad this feeling can be. For those who don't know, Need for Speed is an arcade racer and one of EA's longest running franchises. Need for Speed has been putting out since 1994, with a whopping total of 25 games in the mainline series. A little slutty if you ask me. To this day, the one that hooked me on this path is Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012. Fans of the franchise will know 2005's Most Wanted game is probably the best arcade racer of all time. And to be honest, I wouldn't know. I've never played it. What I can say for sure though, is I loved Most Wanted 2012. Your goal is to become Fairhaven's most wanted racer. That's it. No overly corny cutscenes, no contrived plot. Just race and be damn good at it. How do you unlock new cars, you may be asking? Just find them littered all over the open world. Just park right next to it, jump in, and you're off to the races. You win races to get better parts for your car, better nitro, better tires. Hell, even get inflatable tires for when you run into those spike strips, because the police won't make your way to the top in easy cruise. It's a decently sized open world, and memorizing each corner, knowing each alleyway to cut through or hide in, is essential to becoming the best. After a handful of years, there wasn't really anything outside of Need for Speed or Sonic that could scratch that high-octane race against the clock itch I craved for. I played games like Race Against the Sun, The Crew, some Forza games, but nothing really hit the mark for me. In that drought, I rediscovered what initially shifted my love into fast games. A more grounded setting that would redefine what I saw as fast. When I say grounded, I mean in the most literal sense, Mirror's Edge. It isn't as breakneck as Sonic or as extreme as any Need for Speed game, but what it presented to me was speed and efficiency. Cars aren't the only thing that go fast in this world. How could I have forgotten? It's not like I stopped playing Sonic games during that time either. I started using all 2 of my brain cells. Mirror's Edge, Ultra Kill, Neon White, Hotline Miami, Katana Zero, Ghost Runner, Vanquish. All of these games I would define as gotta go fast. But they are vastly different genres. When it comes to the first-person perspective, Mirror's Edge favors quick thinking and efficient routes, while maintaining that speed and agility to surpass your opponents. Neon White is a fast first-person shooter that begs you to speedrun its levels. Ultra Kill is a retro FPS that mixes in ultra-violent action that demands your attention at every moment. Ghost Runner takes Mirror's Edge's advice and relies on fast-paced parkour, but with a twist. Everything dies in one hit, including you, so memorizing enemy tactics, positions, and routes will help you achieve your goal of getting out alive. Vanquish is a third-person cover shooter made by Platinum Games, folks known for making the best action games of all time, and this is no different. In Vanquish, taking cover is used to just make you go faster and look cooler while killing enemies, because staying in one place for too long is a death sentence. You use your rocket-powered suit to zip and slide around cover, going into this slow-mo John Woo style of shooting, and you just keep moving forward, because no matter what enemy you face, your best option is always to move forward. Now, this feeling of going fast isn't only limited to games that move fast, but games that require fast reaction times. Take, for example, Hotline Miami and Katana Zero are both 2D pixel art action games where you have to make your way through each level as quickly and as brutally as possible, because dying means starting over again. Sekiro and Sifu are both games that demand perfection in combat. Being able to perceive what move is coming towards you and countering with your own just as quickly is a sensation like no other. Going fast and being fast are the same. Look at it this way. Classic Sonic, and even in modern Sonic games, reacting to that last minute jump for a faster path or sliding under that wall so your momentum doesn't halt is still a form of gotta go fast syndrome. Be fast to stay fast, be fast to stay alive. Every single dodge, every single parry and punch is essential to maintain this euphoria of speed. All this to say, fast does not only mean speed, it requires an understanding of efficiency and split-second decision making. Split Second, developed by Black Rock Studio, a company that went under because of Disney, is an arcade racer's wet fantasy. Thanks to the Xbox having backwards compatibility, I was able to experience high-octane racing, huge explosive set pieces, and most importantly of all, fast cars. Imagine if you were baking a cake and you mixed Mario Kart, turned everything up to 1,000,000 cc's, and threw in Fast and Furious set pieces on top of the extreme cake. In Split Second, your goal is to be number one. Split Second story is pitched as a game show where you take on a variety of races with predetermined traps laid out. Drifting builds up power, and you can use that power to set off traps or shortcuts. These traps range from minor explosions to track-altering demolition. From exploding industrial plants to a helicopter throwing a dirt truck at you to collapse an overpass, causing what is a pretty straightforward drive into absolute chaos. To this day, there hasn't been anything like that feeling. And I wish they were able to make the sequel they wanted to, because spoiler alert, by the end of the game, the entire show is overrun by construction vehicles that tear up the city and have the old Split Second logo. We got lore in my action racing game. What do you mean old logo? Why are they destroying everything? Is the sequel gonna be an apocalyptic, true race for your life experience? We'll never know. It honestly kills me to even think about it. Split Second is truly one of a kind, and there's no other game like it anywhere. This video started with an on-foot, fast-paced game, so I'd like to circle all the way back and end it on one. Haste Broken Worlds is an absolute wonder to play. I honestly started writing this script because of it. I've been looking forward to this game for over a year now, and a couple weeks ago, a demo dropped. And oh boy, I have been playing it any chance I get. Haste is a roguelike runner, where you make your way through crystals to fight and take down bosses at the end of that crystal. From lasers, bombs, meteors crashing down, to the world itself breaking apart behind you, speed and quick reflexes are key. The more precise you are with your landings, the faster you'll go and the higher rating you'll get for a chance to get more useful items. Die 3 times and it's over. Start the crystal again. Now, you aren't running and jumping your way through these maps because there is no jump button. You are more or less gliding, running off hills, and choosing when to land. That's what nets you your momentum to maintain your speed and gives you access to a boost that comes in the form of a hoverboard. Now this screams Sonic Riders mods coming to this game. That is enough out of that individual. As you see here, even from the darkest depths of God of Go Fast syndrome, it seems to have spread to other genres and styles of gaming. It truly is a sad sight to see these once fine gentlemen fall to the alluring sensation of speed. Remember kids, this is your brain, and this is your brain on speed.